800-990-3776. That's the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. And remember that one, 800-990-3776, because that is your opportunity to vent in a safe space in which we will dissect everything that went down yesterday in the Packers' loss to the Broncos. We'll start with you. I guess we'll start with Tosa Chris. Is it too late to return the Jordan Love cookies? And for those who don't know, when the Packers were 2-1, Brad Nortman came in and he was like, I went to the bakery on Saturday. There was only 2 Packers cookies in there, and they were Jordan Love cookies, and it just felt right. And after the comeback, I'm all in on Jordan Love. Kyle, Brad, you guys ate those cookies. I said I'll have a nibble, and I got laughed at. Where are you guys at now?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because, we've been dealing and throwing around this Jordan Love relationship analogy from the get-go, from the step, number one show of our program. And it's almost like you were working your way toward getting ready to propose and maybe looking at jewelry. And it's like, baby,
red flag.
Why you got to act like that? All these different attributes are coming out and be like, I didn't know this about you. So, to me, I just look around at this team, this coaching staff, Jordan Love, across the board regression. There were some things you could hang your hat on. There were some positives that you were seeing through the first 3 games. It wasn't perfect, for sure wasn't perfect, but you were looking at it, both local, national media, former players, current players saying like, hey, this guy can play. This team's all right. And you have just seen one step back after another step back after another step back. And when I think this team can't hit another level of the basement and hit rock bottom even more, they hit another level of rock bottom. It's hard to imagine a worse rock bottom than what we just saw. A Broncos team that is universally terrible across the board, terrible defense, and then have that offensive performance. The offense is so bad, it's almost making me forget that the defense still can't stop the run, and we still don't have any answers there. So I'm sitting here left with the least amount of clarity I've ever had about this team, and that includes Jordan Love, to where if that cookie's still available, I ain't buying it right now.
This game, this offense was putrid. Like, this was something that was tough to watch. In the first half, watching this team just absolutely find no rhythm, get nothing done, was embarrassing for the Green Bay Packers. And it was beyond frustrating for me. And then understanding that this team is the best second-half football team, which is woody-doo, whatever. You score 17 points in the second half, congratulations. But scoring points in the second half, despite not winning, means nothing to me. It's all about winning for the Green Bay Packers. And I thought maybe, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, would this bye week mean something, right? And I thought, okay, they had time to really refocus themselves and had time to reevaluate themselves and coach themselves up and get ready for this game. And what did they do out there? Nothing different. They looked like the exact same football team in week 5 than they did in, week 7 now? They look like the exact same football team. Has been no change whatsoever coming off a bye week for this football team. And this is why I said from the jump of this season, and I dang it, I'm mad at myself for getting too hyped, seeing things from a rose-colored glasses, and not just focusing on
green and gold-colored glasses.
Green and gold-colored glasses. I should have listened to what they said in the offseason and not what they started to say leading into the season, not after week 1. This was supposed to be a down season, and this was supposed to be a bad year. And I set myself up by expecting something better, maybe 10 wins, maybe 9 wins, maybe 8 wins, only to be slapped with the realization that this team
on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, Kyle legitimately slapped himself
because this team is not a very good football team. It's not. Defensively, they're average. Okay, against a team like the Broncos, whose offense sucks, they'll suffice. They'll do fine to keep you in the game. But the offense is young, inexperienced. They have no leaders. It's trash. It really is. It's a trash offense. And I said this upstairs. You're asking guys who have no idea what they're doing to do something special. It's like trying to basically ask Brad or ask Ben or ask me to ride a unicycle without teaching us how to ride a unicycle, or not knowing how to ride a bike, not giving somebody training wheels. These guys have on training wheels right now. They do. They're at an elementary level trying to go up against guys in high school. That's exactly what we're dealing with as Packers fans. So for Packers fans like me, let's just calm down, let's sit down, and let's tamper our expectations and know this team this year is no bueno. We are looking at a top 8 pick team. That is what the Green Bay Packers are. We may be a top 5 pick team. And you know what? Let's enjoy the ride. And
enjoy the ride.
Let's enjoy the ride, and let's see exactly
who enjoys when the roller coaster breaks and is
nobody. But we can sit here and complain each week, but don't complain because the product sucks because we know the product sucks. You know what I'm saying? So don't go into Sunday.
Yeah, but you can complain about how the product got to where the product is.
So I guess we can complain about how the product got to how the product is, but they tried to warn us. They put tea leaves out there to say, hey, we got a new quarterback. It's going to be a work in progress.
That's not good. That's not good roster building. Let's just go and suck across the board and put terrible product out there. You're literally wasting people's careers.
As in on the defense, and I mean I'm out for a wholesale. I'm still hopeful for next season, but this season is over. This season is completely over. There's only thing
you can't be hopeful for next season and then say this season is over.
No,
you can be hopeful for next season and say this season is over from an expectations of winning standpoint, but learning if they're actually going to be good next year is part of the process.
All we're trying to figure out is Romeo Doubs going to be a legit number 2? Is Christian Watson, is he a number 1 or is he just a gadget guy? What do you have in Reed? What do you have in Musgraves? On the offensive line, we got a 7th-round pick protecting a guy who even played last year, protecting the blind side of Jordan Love. Our team sucks. They do. The best offensive lineman on the team had a holding penalty that ruined the game for us. So I'm just upset about this. Elton Jenkins, trash yesterday. Everybody, trash yesterday. Throw it away.
You know my favorite part about that is 2 minutes ago. Let's stay calm. We know what the expectations are. And he snapped.
It's just disappointing. And they said it after the game. Disappointing. Like Matt LaFleur said, it's disappointing. And I just need him to change the messaging from disappointing, because I just remember when teams lose, like when teams who don't expect to be good lose and they're expecting to build up, you go in the locker room and they say, listen, fellas, we're getting close. We're in these games. And I feel like the conversation after is talking about, we let this slip away. No, we need to be talking about, fellas, we're battling. Keep fighting. We're going to break that rock, but we just got to keep hitting and hitting. The mindset is wrong, and they need to shift it to a different mindset.
Well, it's hard to shift the mindset when I think they take a strong representation of what their head coach is. And Matt LaFleur has proven that his teams are not tough. They're not tough teams. They do not handle adversity well. They have not been good off buys. And I think Ron in the Key makes a good point here as he's referencing where Kyle's at right now. He's going through some stages of grief. That's how I look at Kyle right now. 800-990-3776. That's where you can chime in. Don't complain because the product sucks. That's exactly when you should complain. At least Kyle's finally able to see that it sucks. There's baby steps. And again, for me, this all goes back to the abysmal start. I'm with you, Kyle. The seven, I'm so sick of the second half thing, because no matter what, whether they scored 13 points in the second half or however many against, I think they scored 10 points in the second half against the Raiders, however many scored against the Lions, and however many they scored yesterday, guess what that mattered for? Nothing. They lost all 3 of their last games with the points scored in the second half. It's a trend that is clearly something that is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the results of the game. What has mattered is Matt LaFleur, with more time than ever to prepare for a Raiders team off of a Thursday night game against the Lions. They sucked. That was their worst offensive performance. I don't know. These two are close, so I'm not going to jump ahead on my own point here. It was bad against the Raiders. Then, all right, you get 13 days after you play the Raiders, coming off a bye week, to play the Broncos. And all I freaking asked, all I've been asking Matt LaFleur to do, despite the young talent, despite all of that, this was the time to figure it out. Because guess what? All of your concerns, Kyle, about this offense sucking, they don't have extra time to go self-scout, look at what they need to do better. This is what you got. What you got is what you saw, and that was against 2 of the worst teams. Now, do they play their next 2 opponents with under 500 records? Yes, but guess what? That don't matter.
You suck. It doesn't matter because you suck too. They all suck. We all suck.
Every game is losable.
I've been trying. I remember going through the Packers schedule and being like, "Oh, that team's not that good." Well, guess what? The same team that you're saying that is not good is looking at the Packers and saying, that's an opportunity for us. And that's what happens when you move on from a guy, whether you liked him or not, put you at the 10 and a half wins win total before the season starts, and you're going to have a chance every single year. This is the other side of it. And unfortunately, like it makes me feel like Goody's getting away from a lot of the blame right now. I put something out on Twitter at Ben Brust. Who do you blame? Goody for the roster or LaFleur for not elevating them? And Matt LaFleur is taking 75% of the blame. Goody's taking 25. Guess who traded away a potential football Hall of Famer before Aaron Rodgers? Goody did with Davante Adams. And for anybody who tries telling me that they offered Davante the same thing that the Raiders offered, they had already lost at that point. They didn't prioritize Davante before that. And so you don't have Davante Adams. Lazard gone. MVS gone. So then you set up your wide receiving group to be this young for a guy that you drafted and pissed off Rodgers and ultimately fractured your relationship to a point where he is now gone. So you traded away two Pro Football Hall of Famers, and you give Matt LaFleur a roster with Jordan Love in his first year, and this is what he's got. Part of me is very much, I could go at Matt LaFleur, but I feel like Goot needs to be taking a little bit more of a hit here, because ultimately the guy that he drafted and moved up to draft in a year in which they went to the NFC Championship game and didn't continue to build the roster to help them win now, they drafted Jordan Love, A.J. Dillon, and Josiah DeGuara. Those are the three guys that Brian Gutekunst drafted after they went to an NFC Championship game. Think about that. And Goody gets, it's all good. Goody, Goody. No, I'm sick of everyone getting after LaFleur. Goody has messed this up for the Green Bay Packers, especially if Jordan Love isn't the guy. That's the scary thing. We all talk about this season, all that matters is finding out if Jordan Love's the guy. Well, guess what? If he's not, that goes even more further to Goody.
Well, and that's the whole challenge, right? I could almost understand Goody's mindset and approach if he took over a team like the current Bears, where it's like, we're already in the basement, we're already struggling, might as well hit the reset button because we got nothing else to really lean on. He took over a Ferrari, right? And now we're stuck with some, beaten down car that we're not even sure can start when we want it to start. It's totally unresponsive, and he took that, dismantled it to try to hit the reset button. But you know what's really hard as a GM in the NFL? It's not the salary cap. It's hard to find good players. It is really hard to find good players. You accumulate all the good players you can, and you figure out the salary cap as you can, right? The Packers had those good players. They didn't just have good players. They had great players. They had Hall of Fame players. They had the ingredients that every other franchise is searching for. And before you know it, he dismantled it piece by piece and just thought, you know what? I can just hit the reset button and do that all again. It's not that easy. It's really, really, really hard to find good players in the NFL. Had good players. We no longer do.
I love how you said that. You stripped down the Ferrari and took it to a damn chop shop. That's exactly what this roster is. That is a great analogy that we have for the Packers. And as I think about Jordan Love, and maybe I'm overreacting, but I do believe, Ben, that this season we find out a lot about Love. Because if your team continues, again, they're losing close games. So, they're not far off from, they're competing, right? This is a competitive football team that has failed to put a whole 48 minutes. They play 48 minutes, right? 60 minutes. Whole 68 minutes of football together. Like, that is exactly what this team has failed to do. And that's part of the growth process that I just feel like they need to do a reset and reevaluate what their goals are for this season. And so at the end of this year, you have to be able to know whether or not Jordan Love is the guy or not, because if you lose a lot of close games and you're only scoring 17 points, 20 points, and Jordan Love's not lighting it up, and you end up with 3 wins or 4 wins, and you do have a top 3 draft pick, you consider moving on. You know why? It's because what happens is Jordan Love could potentially maybe be good. But we're talking about year 5 next year. If you have a top 3 draft pick and you have a pick and an option at one of these guys that could be elite one day? Because right now, Jordan Love is not displaying that he's going to be elite. But one of these guys coming out next year could potentially be elite. You have to highly and heavily consider moving on from Jordan Love and bringing somebody else in. Not because Jordan Love can't be an NFL starter, but Jordan Love may never be a guy that can be an elite NFL starter, a championship NFL starter. There's not a lot of guys that win championships at quarterback at all. And so if he can't get it done, and you'll be able to see this year what he does, you may be able to move on. And again, it doesn't mean Jordan Love can't be a top 15 quarterback, but if you got a chance to get a guy that's going to be top 3, top 4 in the NFL come 2032, you get that guy.
800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-ESPN. I put this out on my personal Twitter, @BenBrust. Who deserves more blame, Goody for this roster or Matt for not elevating them? That was 67% Matt LaFleur getting the blame. I want to hear from you guys, 800-990-3776, because I didn't put Jordan Love in this because, to me, Jordan Love is part of Goot. Goot is a part of Jordan Love. Like, they are tied together because coming off of an NFC Championship game, which they had no business winning, that is something to build off of when you have Aaron Rodgers, and they decided to do nothing to help them other than draft A.J. Dillon and Josiah DeGuara after Jordan Love.
F.
3 Fs.
Jordan Love's a C right now. And A.J. Dillon's an F because he had to contribute.
But if I said A or F Jordan Love, like the game we play, what would you say?
It's F right now.
There it is.
It's F right now.
800-990-3776. Goot or LaFleur? Who are you blaming? I say Goot. What do you say next?
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
It is the 414 hour at 4.
No.
All right, Kyle, take it away.
If you're going to say it, you got to say it right. It's the 414 hour at 4.
Okay, so how am I supposed to say that?
Come on.
All right.
4, 1, 4.
It's the 414 hour at 4.
Come on, they're going to have some swag
No way, I can't do that every day.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
You can drive cutting-edge design. 2023 Audis are on the lot and ready for delivery. You can save $7,500 on select Audi EVs with the AFS EV lease bonus. See dealer for details and exclusions. Eligibility is subject to credit approval through Audi Financial Services. Cannot be combined with National Customer Credit. Offer expires October 31st. Stop in and test drive today. Check out our website to see our current electric vehicle inventory and our monthly specials. The search for your Audi begins and ends at Audi Madison off the Beltline and Rimrock Road. Drive yours today.
A bank that goes the extra yard? You got it. Show your love for the green and gold with Packers checking only from Associated Bank. Make every transaction a touchdown with your Packers debit MasterCard. And when you use it at the Packers Pro Shop, at the stadium, or online, you'll get 10% off. Associated Bank's Packers checking scores the home field advantage by delivering Midwest-based customer care, outstanding value, and more. Get in the game and learn more today at AssociatedBank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
Legacy Exteriors. Just pick up the phone and let us leave a legacy on your home. Roofing, windows, gutters, siding, and decks. Can Legacy do it? You bet. Better prices, better warranties. Legacy always makes it easy. Go to legacy-exteriors.com. Legacy Exteriors. Just pick up the phone and let us leave a legacy on your home.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
Hey, it's Alex Strofe, and it's time for you to get away to Door County for free. My friends at Door County Distillery are giving away a 2-night stay at Stone Harbor Resort in Sturgeon Bay for free. Plus tours of Door County Coffee, Door County Distillery, and Door County Candle Company, plus $500 gift cards to each location. Go to DoorCountyDistillery.com/Door County Getaway. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com/Door County Getaway. All one word. We'll pick one lucky winner on October 25th. Don't miss out. DoorCountyDistillery.com/Door County Getaway.
The best quality roofs, siding, windows, and doors, expertly installed and at an affordable price. Hi, this is Bo from Ridgetop Exteriors. We're the trusted local experts you can count on for your home exterior projects. There's a reason so many customers recommend us after we help with their projects. Go to ridgetopexteriors.com for a free estimate.
Tired of power outages disrupting your life? Make them a thing of the past by getting a Generac home standby generator from Adams Generators. Adams Generators is the largest and #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. With 24/7 emergency support, our factory-trained technicians are standing by to assist you. Visit adamspower.com/generators to make sure your power always stays on. That's adamspower.com/generators.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We're here for you to get the yuck out of your brain, out of your mind. As the Packers lose to the Broncos, they're 2-4. The most egregious part is how bad they looked off the bye. I mean, like, that was all I was asking for. An offensive-minded head coach off of the bye week. Give me something more than 0 in the first half. And give me something, like, honestly, this is going to sound bad as well. Like, even the Dontavian Wicks throw, like, that to me is like, man, we really don't have anything. We really got to stretch the bag here. Like, I'm asking for him to dial something up with his personnel. And the best they had was, I believe, who was it early? It was actually Dontavian Wicks who had the long run or the long catch and run for 15 yards, and then it was the orange. Like they couldn't make plays outside of dump offs and check. I did think Tausch is a big check down Charlie guy. I didn't even want to call them check downs or dump offs. It was just like, here, quick, boop, 1 yard pass, go. There was nothing to that game that made me feel like Matt LaFleur put the team in a good spot in the first half to be successful. Now, I do want to shift the conversation to how we got here, right? Because this is the time to break down, like, okay, if it's that bad, how did it become this bad? And I ask you, is it on Goody for the way he constructed the roster or on Matt LaFleur for the way he's coaching the youngsters? Tom in North Carolina, 800-990-3776. Who you got?
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Love your perspective and your southern accent, as always.
I appreciate that. My perspective is this. I think that they're both to blame. And what I mean by that is this. Gutekunst evidently saw something that nobody else in the whole stinking football league saw. Moved up in the draft to get him. Yeah, granted, the guy's been sitting on the bench for 3 years, and now he's starting. But you look at LaFleur, and he's dialing up plays for this guy that makes no sense. He has no zip on the ball. Every pass he's throwing, he's floating. He is behind every receiver. Now, I don't blame him because I don't think he's the starting quarterback caliber. He might be a great journeyman and a backup, but Gutekunst is to blame for drafting the guy number one, and LaFleur's to blame. If it were me, I'd put him on the bench, start your backup, and then see what Love's worth. Because then you're going to give – right now, Jordan Love's just cruising going, okay, well, you know, I think what you see is what you're going to get, and you're not going to get any more than that. So I blame them both.
And thank you for the call, Tom. What I will disagree with there is you extended Jordan Love in which like you gave him some guaranteed money for this year. He's playing a lot of his money for next year based off incentives. But you have to see. You have to. And trust me, if you want to see Sean Clifford, you don't, number one. And number two, there is no way in hell that Goody, who you just said moved up to get him, who he clearly believes he saw something in Jordan Love that others didn't, he's going to give him his fair shot as long as he's the general manager. Matt LaFleur will not be employed if he benches Jordan Love.
Well, it's interesting when you think about Matt LaFleur's journey with the Packers, because we can date back Goody's journey with the Packers of inheriting this roster with a Hall of Fame quarterback and certainly pieces of Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams, guys that made for the run that they had. Even David Bakhtiari, really marquee guys, right? And the 2000 to 2001 runs that they had of Aaron Rodgers playing MVP caliber football was unbelievable. But you have to remember that LaFleur was brought in to bring back out that type of play out of Aaron Rodgers, right? That's the whole reason. So we're going to bring in this new offensive guy, and he's going to take Rodgers and maximize Aaron Rodgers' ability, right? And maybe there's something to where maybe Matt LaFleur is just better with, everyone's better with Aaron Rodgers than Jordan Love, but there are some coaches that like love teaching young guys. They love it. I mean, even like Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is a young guy kind of coach, right? It's very you rah rah. It's very exciting. He loves molding them. I don't gather that's Matt LaFleur. I gather that this whole process of deconstructing that veteran kind of stud lineup that the Packers had all those years and then resulting in this, it's nothing but frustrate Matt LaFleur. And you see it on his face. You see it on his face on the sideline, at the podium. I think he's looking around saying, like, this is not what I signed up for. Now, it's on him to maximize and squeeze every ounce of productivity out of them. But
he's definitely wearing the frustration.
But he is like, I think he's like, I started with this. Now I have this. I am freaking frustrated.
But that's why I said there needs to be a shift in a mindset. You look at his post-game quotes. You look at his demeanor on the sidelines. He's expecting for these guys to execute at a high level. And he's getting frustrated at when guys are four receivers in the same area, which ain't no way in the world anything is drawn up to be like that. Like somebody should have said,
it looked like kindergarten soccer.
They were in little quadrants.
And I went and watched some kindergarten soccer on Sunday, or Saturday morning rather. They all shouldn't be in the same area.
They should not be. And the thing is, it's not about losing. It's about how you lose the game. And Matt LaFleur is showing that he does not understand how to lose these football games. And when I say that is, and I said it before, it's about losing but seeing the bright spots from it, the silver linings from these games. I don't believe he's seeing any silver linings because all he's talking about is how disappointed he's how disappointed he's for the team and how disappointed he is for losing. And how I want to hear something about some optimism of losing sucks. But you know what? A.J. Dillon, he ran hard. He made some big plays for us. That's a bright side. Jaden Reed, he made some good plays for us as well. Luke Musgraves caught the ball. And you know what? He got popped. He got up. Like the small silver linings that you can take.
He got
from this
hurt
game.
And left with a walking boot. I don't know if you knew that.
Wait, Luke Musgrave got.
Yes.
Oh, well, he got up. He got up after that game. But after that play? But what I'm saying is looking for some of the positive things to motivate these guys to get better. They're not that far off from winning games against bad teams. But again, stop focusing on trying to be a championship caliber team or being a playoff team when all you need to focus on is going from an inexperienced team to being more of an inexperienced team. Because at this point now, I'm ready to throw out Matt LaFleur. I'm ready to throw out Goody because you're absolutely right, Ben. Goody deserves a lot of blame for this roster and the way this is constructed and what we have around Jordan Love and what we have on this defense, because we can talk about all these first-round picks, but you can only have so many busts, right? If you have bust after bust after bust, that means you're not good at evaluating talent at a high level. And I watch other teams are able to throw fourth-round picks in, fifth-round picks in, draft first-round picks that knock it out the park.
Who's the best player on the Green Bay Packers when healthy?
Jair Alexander.
You wouldn't put Aaron Jones there?
Aaron Jones is
yeah.
Aaron Jones is up there when healthy. Those are probably the two.
My
guys.
point is that I was hoping you would say Aaron Jones is Ted Thompson drafted Aaron Jones.
And he drafted best player available instead of trying to draft for need.
And so all I wanted to bring with that is this entire roster, it has Goody's handprint all over it. And this is interesting to me because a lot of people in many organizations, I'd like to your quick perspective, Brad, the head coach and the general manager typically work in tandem. general manager typically has the final say on who they draft and who they pick. But it's been reported that, like, Goody doesn't value Matt LaFleur's opinion. He doesn't even go to the combine in Indianapolis. And as I talk about blaming Goody for the roster that's put out there right now, somebody texts in, Daniel, our official landscaper of KBN Nation, says, Matt has say in those picks too, Ben, but he really doesn't. And that, to me, is where this all boils up to Mark Murphy and the way that he's designed who reports to who. Because Matt doesn't report to Goody. Goot reports to Murphy. Matt reports to Murphy. And so there's no connectivity between GM and coach. And I think we're seeing that play out evidently on the field right now.
This is why really great head coaches want the GM responsibility, because they know how important it is for those two things to be together. And most teams that I've been on and most organizations that I have awareness of, look, it certainly is GM has the authority to pick guys and make the final decision on the roster, and the coach has final decision with obviously implementing whatever the coaching philosophy is. But more often than not, probably at least 80% of the NFL franchises, they at least have a working relationship together where there's at least a conversation. For sure on big things, big trades, first couple round draft picks, things like that. There is certainly professional conversations that are being had between GM and head coach so that they're on the same page, because the impact on the team is so massive. I can't think of an organization where it's a good thing where you have your two leaders that are completely siloed from one another when they're trying to work together for the same product. It makes no sense to me.
I would like to hope to believe what you're saying is not completely true, because I don't really like the excuse that Matt LaFleur gave for not going to the combine this year was the fact that he felt like...
Here, we have Jason Woolley joining us at 3:45. We will ask him about the relationship between Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur.
Because I want to know, because the excuse that Matt LaFleur gave was the fact that, well, all this stuff is recorded, we can see it on film. Well, you know what? When you go to the combine, I've never been to the combine. Brad, you've been to the combine. Did you speak to any head coaches at the combine?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had an opportunity to speak to head coaches who are going to be the people working with you, right?
Yeah.
The people that get to pick kind of the personalities that they want with the team. You get as many people talking to these players. Why? It's because you have an opportunity to figure out what were your notes on him. Just like anybody, you go into an interview, you don't just go into an interview by yourself. You have a search committee, right? The search committee evaluates the person that you're searching to get for a certain position or for a certain job, and you look at your notes and you compare notes and you decide who you want. If you had the person who is calling the plays, the person who is working with these players on a day-to-day basis, not showing face at the combine, not being able to be there in that area, something is fishy, something stinks, and it smells of dysfunction.
800-990-3776. Who do you blame more, Goot for this roster or Matt LaFleur for not elevating it? We'll hit you, KBN Nation, next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
Is this like a KBN, or is it like individual picture per page?
No, I was hoping
this is going to change the price.
It's like a calendar.
No.
You got your own page.
Okay,
your own page. Okay,
own page is one thing. I can do that, but if I got to be nude, taking multiple pictures for an hour next to y'all swanging and wanging all over the place, I don't think I want.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Ben Brust here for Legacy Exteriors. Make sure you give them a call, 608-221-3000, for all of your exterior needs, because they are the best in Dane County. Roofing, windows, gutters, siding, and decks. Can Legacy do it? You bet. They now offer 4-season sunrooms as well. If you're looking for an improvement on your home, whether it's the exteriors or something to enjoy all year long, Legacy Exteriors has it all for you. Legacy-exteriors.com, or give them a call, 608-221-3000.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau.
The standards have been set from quarterbacks that have been here before us, and you're trying to continue to raise your game until you get to that bar.
This is your green and gold fix on 100.5 ESPN.
You're going to evolve throughout the course of the season. It's always the fine line of what's too much.
This green and gold fix is driven by Metro Ford.
A scoreless first half, a late game interception, a missed field goal, and plenty of opportunities going to the wayside in the Packers' 19-17 loss in Denver on Sunday. Something that Packers quarterback Jordan Love knows has to change.
Got to find a way to win these games. We've been put in this position multiple times where it comes down to the offense, have to go win the game, and we have not capitalized on that. So we got to find a way that, just that margin for error, and we're not capitalizing on these end-of-game situations. I think the situation is going to keep coming, keep being there until we find a way to, capitalize to go win.
Packers dropped to 2-4 on the season. This is their third straight loss.
Purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford at Metro Ford of Madison on the east side today.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Braylon Allen here. When I'm running, tackling, and scoring touchdowns, I'll give you one guess what I'm wearing underneath my jersey and pads. That's right. Iron Jock Performance Gear is with me for every yard, every sprint, and every lift in the weight room. This is by far the best athletic apparel I've ever worn. Join me with Iron Jock Nation and get yours at ironjock.com. That's ironjoc.com.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Who do you blame more for the debacle yesterday? Goody for putting the roster together like this, or Matt LaFleur not elevating the roster he was given? And again, I put it out on Twitter, and a lot of people go with Matt LaFleur, and I 66% did, and I just, Goody is the one to blame for me. I will continue to hammer this home. Think about where we're at now and think about where we could have been if he would have invested more into, like, again, we'd probably be in the same situation, but wouldn't you rather have gone a little bit more all in, right? Like, draft that wide receiver in the first round, draft like more of an impact player than a running back like A.J. Dillon in the second round off of the the choices in which he drafted for the future, which is what the draft is for. I understand that. But coming off of the 2019 NFC Championship game, there were glaring holes, which was the run defense. They didn't address that with either of the first three picks. And there was an opportunity to add a very good wide receiver, and they drafted Jordan Love. And so you didn't go all in there. You rode Aaron Rodgers for 2 years in which he played at a high caliber with Matt LaFleur as his head coach, maybe covering up what Matt LaFleur is as a head coach. That's a debate for another conversation. But now you're at a spot where you're in a total rebuild, which wouldn't you rather have like gone all in and like buried yourself with a cap for the next 3 years and been in this situation? Because right now it feels like not going all in is putting you in the situation where you're in now, where it's like, well, we didn't really get anything out of it.
Well, a dark reality of the NFL is, for most people, particularly non-players, it's not enough just to win. you need the credit for the win. So if, in my opinion, and from what I've seen from many different characters and personalities that I've heard from other guys and I've experienced myself, is that requires you to put your own imprint on the team, even if it means going away from something that works. So I think about the Aaron Rodgers times with Goody. If Goody would have went all in and pacified Rodgers and just said, look, we want you here as long as possible. You're a first-time Hall of Famer. We need you. This team's going to be yours for as long as you want it. And let's figure out a way to make this a Super Bowl winning team again. And let's say they did win a Super Bowl. Do you think Goody's going to get a ton of credit for that? Because these are mostly Ted Thompson's guys. Aaron Rodgers is a Ted Thompson guy. LaFleur is going to get credit. Rodgers can get credit. Goody's not going to get any credit. He's going to get some credit, not as much as he'd like, though. And if it's consistent with the rest of the personalities in the NFL, particularly at that management type of level, they not only want to win, they want credit. And I think he wanted credit. And I think that Rodgers, yes, is also tough to get along with and all that kind of stuff, but you had it. You had the great players. And now look where we are.
Winning is everything. That's what it should be about. Forget your ego. You know what can cure your ego? When you look at your hand and you got rings on your fingers. When you look up in the banners that they have up, they say all these NFC championships. When you look at the revenue, when you look at the fact that they're talking about the Green Bay Packers every single year, that is the reason why as Packers fans we have this arrogance about us, because all we know is winning for the last 30 years. That's all we absolutely know about our team. And so I don't blame Matt LaFleur for this, because you know why? Matt LaFleur proved if you give him talent, and of course an elite quarterback, but you give him talent, his teams can win. He won a lot of football games for the Green Bay Packers. Now, he still needs to prove whether or not he can coach an inexperienced team, but this inexperienced team is inexperienced because of what Goody decided that he wanted to do. And the thing is Ben, you are absolutely correct. The Packers should have went all in. What did the Eagles do? The Eagles missed by a little bit of what they do. They doubled up. They still drafted Jordan Davis, and then this year they drafted Jalen Carter.
They just traded for a safety from the Titans within 5 minutes.
And that's the thing.
Man.
They understand what the assignment is. The assignment is, let's not just be competitive. The assignment is not just win the division. The assignment is winning Super Bowl championships. And Goody has failed the organization. He has failed this team in trying to do that. What did the Dolphins do? They went and spent a whole bunch of money to go get a whole bunch of talent. That's exactly what they did. Why? Because they understood the fact that, hey, we're not too far off. We want to win football games. What did the Rams do? They salvaged their future for a couple of years. I mean, they're doing decent this year in order to win a championship. We think about what the 49ers have tried to do. They got rid of picks to do what? To bring as much talent around. What did the Broncos do? They said, hey, we're a quarterback away, so let's go get Peyton Manning. What did the Buccaneers do? These teams understand it's not about winning. It's about winning titles. And that is something that Brian Gutekunst has failed to understand about this. And you know what his legacy is going to be? It's going to be getting fired and not seeing this team ever win a championship.
800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-3776. A safe place for you to get your feelings out after the Packers lost to the Broncos yesterday, and another just horrendous first half off of a bye from Matt LaFleur. I know Chris is on the phone right now, but I do want to ask, on Twitter at KBN ESPN, with Mark Murphy retiring in 2025, because this plays a lot into the LaFleur, Goody, Love conversation. Who is most likely to still be here? Love, Goody, LaFleur, or none of those guys? Because I think if I'm here's what I'll tell you. If I am a general manager, or the next president of the Green Bay Packers, which is rumored to actually be true. I'm in the running of conversations. I've had early conversations with 1265. I've been invited in. They give me the red carpet.
You know I own the team, so you got my vote.
Here's what I would say. I would say, all right, I'm the team president now. Mark Murphy retired. You're telling me that right now Brian Gutekunst is the general manager. Okay, he's the general manager. Well, what's his resume? Right now his resume is trading away 2 Pro Football Hall of Famers, drafting Jordan Love, and putting this roster together right now. If they do not improve, I'm like, hell with this guy. And so to Kyle's point, and to your point, Brad, about these general managers wanting to have their legacy and their fingerprints, he's going to have the shortest legacy and the shortest fingerprints of any general manager the last 30 years here of the Green Bay Packers by trading away 2 Pro Football Hall of Famers and putting Jordan Love out there with a bunch of young guys around, I would say, an average roster. They're an average roster at best because we've seen the defense over and over. We don't even have to talk about the defense because they have so many more issues than the defense. And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, no. I'm looking at Matt LaFleur and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, you didn't win a Super Bowl. You didn't win an NFC Championship game. You had the number one seed at home against San Francisco, and you put, 13-10? You put up 10 points there. You're supposed to be this offensive mastermind with the MVP quarterback. Rodgers is to blame for that game too. But I'm just saying holistically, if I'm looking at it as this, they're all gone. And if those two are gone, Jordan Love is obviously gone. I think none of them will be there. I really do. I don't think any of those three will be there when the new president comes in for Mark Murphy.
Can I ask a quick question?
Hit me. Brad, whoever you're asking.
No, anybody. What has Goody done so far to keep his job? Like, if he got fired today, what has he done to actually say, hey, I did this? What has he done to keep his job? Name one thing he's done to keep his job.
Jordan Love. That's what I'm saying. He drafted Jordan Love to keep his job.
He went all in. His job.
No, I'm telling you. The reason why he has his job is because on his legacy and his fingerprints is what, if Jordan Love there still is a chance. You can't give up completely yet. And this is coming from me.
You can move on from GMs are a dime a dozen. You can keep funneling them through. What has he done to keep his job? It ain't Jordan Love.
Well,
even if Jordan Love good, he shouldn't be here.
I think he thought this would go a whole lot different because he basically went an all-in bet on Jordan Love. Because think about it. If Jordan Love was the guy, and let's not say he's going to be the next Rodgers or Favre, but if he was a top 15, top 10 guy, he would be in general manager lore in the NFL, right? He figured out, again, how to go from a Hall of Fame quarterback to a capable guy, and he went all in on that. So, everything is hinged on him. I can't think of much he's done outside of that, but everything in his book and his reputation hinges on that.
800-990-3776. Nate in Germantown. Welcome into Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light.
Hey, how you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear, 10-4.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Hey, I know that Gutekunst didn't take over. I think his first draft was 2018. But I think the greatest swing and miss yet in the Packers draft history, can we agree it was 2017, drafting Kevin King and passing on T.J. Watt when they had an obvious needed outside linebacker? Now, I think Brian Gutekunst has done an okay job. I think I give him a C for draft grade because he's hit some guys, but I think he swung and missed a lot on his first-round draft picks. And I have the history pulled up here to prove it.
Let me just tell you something.
I think was this
real quick. First round draft picks are really those are the stars in the NFL. You gotta hit in the first round draft because that is the premium.
Absolutely,
player. You cannot miss. You can't say, oh well, he did okay in the other round. And other rounds don't matter. Those guys are serviceable. The stars are made in the first round of the draft, and they're first round picks for a reason.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'm a believer in Rashawn Gary, first-round draft pick 2019. I think that was a great pick. The second pick in 2019, Darnell Savage. I think we're still waiting to decide what he's going to end up being.
Nate, just on timing here, I got to keep it rolling, and I can't stand for waiting on Darnell Savage. The Packers would have released Darnell Savage if they had not picked up his fifth-year option. He literally got benched last year in his fourth year, and they picked up his fifth-year option. He's on the team now because they had to have him on the team, and that's what you're rolling out as your best safety right now. Got to hit a break, 800-990-3776. So KB Adam Academy, we'll keep hearing from you, breaking down all things Packers, Broncos. I was going to say Packers, Badgers.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
I took a Civil War class in high school.
So what does Civil War have to do with Rosa Parks? Were there buses around in the 1860s, Ben?
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
Varsity on Wisconsin On Demand is home to all the latest and best Badgers content on ESPN Wisconsin. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, and wherever you get your podcasts. The Wisconsin football team rebounded Saturday with a win over Illinois, bringing their season record to 5-2. Head coach Luke Fickell after the game.
I'm sure you all had your doubts, not unlike a lot of us. But I told those guys afterwards, this is the first time in 10 months that I've seen that out of our guys. Probably what makes me happiest. And it's not just finding a way to win. It's the resiliency. It's the fight, the grit.
The Badgers look to make it 2 wins in a row as they host Ohio State this Saturday night.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
It's Chevy truck season, and with a Chevy Silverado, there's no such thing as an uphill battle. With a Chevy Silverado, you can take on the mountains, or you can move them. Because with impressive towing capability, an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen, and the choice of powerful engines to pick from, whatever your mountain, there's a Silverado with the capability you need. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
I'm attorney David Gruber. You've heard our slogan thousands of times, but we are much more than just one call. We are one team, one community, one family, and we're the one law firm that can get you the results and compensation you deserve after a serious accident. Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Buckin' Honeys in Monona is hosting the new Wisconsin Huddle Show featuring star Wisconsin athletes and CBS sports anchor Zach Hanley every Monday night at 6:30. A $30 ticket includes a reserved seat, meet and greet, and a themed tailgate-style dinner spread. Wisconsin Huddle airs on WISC CBS every Friday evening. Come be a part of the live taping of Wisconsin Huddle and get to know your favorite Wisconsin student athletes. Call B&H Monona to reserve your seat at 608-478-2618. We'll see you at Buckin' Honeys.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Just me and you tonight.
A safe place for you to get your feelings out after the Packers lose 3 straight and just looked at abysmal in the first half, coming off of a bye against a horrible defense in the Denver Broncos. Brian G chimes in. Jerry Krause, 608 chimes in. Brian G equals Jerry Krause without the wins. Destroyed a good team due to ego. Jerry Krause did have 6 championships, so you can give a little pass for that. I'm Ben Brust. He's Kyle Wallace, our huge Packer fan that is going through a lot of the swing of emotions right now. Is that fair to say?
It is, because I'm ready to get on you, too.
All right, hang on. We'll get to me in a second. Brad Nortman, 6-time, 6-year NFL punter Chris Larson run the show. Let's start with Derek and Waukesha before Kyle gets at me. 800-990-3776. Who do you blame? Goody for the roster or Matt LaFleur for not elevating them?
I would probably have to say the coaching staff, Matt LaFleur, then Joe Barry on defense as well. I'm just concerned with
all this draft capital we're putting on the defense, and we still can't find a way to get a top 10 defense.
It's obviously a major concern, but don't you walk away from the Broncos game less concerned about the defense and more concerned about everything holistically? Like, Joe Barry's the least of my concerns right now.
Yeah, I would say the offense. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I was all Jordan Love. I thought he was looking really good, and then after the first few weeks, it kind of fell apart. And what I'm really concerned with as well is Christian Watson. Last year I thought he was going to be the next Devontae Adams when Rodgers was throwing to him. And now it's like even when he is healthy and on the field, I don't even notice he's out there. And I would give Jordan Love the benefit of the doubt as a rookie, but I'm seeing other rookie quarterbacks like C.J. Stroud, and he's tearing it up with the wide receivers that he has. So I don't know if that's necessarily an excuse anymore.
Well, it's definitely not, considering he's not a rookie. He had 3 years to learn the offense. He had 3 years to get comfortable. There is a advantage to that, but I think what he does say there that is interesting is he's comparing him to a rookie that has played better on a team that was, second worst record in the NFL last year?
And that's the exact reason why, if you get a top 4 pick, you have to draft one of those guys. Why? Because the earlier the quarterback goes, the more upside that they have. That's been, I don't know, scientifically proven, but based off historical history, the higher the quarterback goes, the better they typically are. And Jordan Love, sorry, buddy, you weren't a superstar in college. You had errors in college where they said the deep ball accuracy was a problem. And boy, you ain't been in college since 2020?
Yeah.
He
That's when
was
they
drafted in 2020, so 2019 season.
So he ain't been in college since 2019, and he still has not fixed the deep ball issue. Sometimes you need to move on, and I just believe that I'd rather have C.J. Stroud right now than Jordan Love.
Well, and 3 years is a long time to develop and to really hone in your craft. And that's why I thought the first 3 games, first for sure a couple, it was like, okay, this is what happens when you get to sit for 3 years. You can grow and mature and be ready to be a starting QB after that time. But there's a lot of reasons, but Jordan Love does seem to be regressing, and it's maybe proving a case that he's not the guy, and you got to start figuring out who is then.
What's your beef, Kyle?
All right, so my beef. I got a lot of stuff going on here, but my beef is this. Now, Ben, we told you last week that we thought you were genuine when you picked the Packers, right? And I'm not saying you weren't being genuine when you picked the Packers, but Ben,
yes,
you are no longer allowed to pick the Green Bay Packers. Okay, you can pick it. You can go and bet and gamble. You better not say the Packers name out your mouth, because every time you have picked the Packers this season, we have absolutely lost. You are banned from picking the Packers. I'm upset about the loss, but I'm not discouraged because I know this team's not going to be good. But you can't pick the Packers no more. You can't.
You can't tell me what to do.
No, you're poison. I'm telling you, Chris, mute his mic if you start. Turn it off, because you can't pick the Packers anymore, because every time you touch it, it's turned to trash. Why are you smiling like that? Do you enjoy seeing me like this?
A little bit. I'm not going to lie. If I'm going to be in this room hanging out, talking with you every single day, I like to see you worked up. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of fun.
I'm sitting there yelling at the TV screen. You know, this is how bad it got. I'm yelling at people, shaking hands and smiling after the game. That's how upset go in the locker room. What you smiling about? That's how upset I was.
I agree. Trust me.
I don't need to have you smirking at me 10 feet away.
I get that energy. Trust me. Like, there's nothing more infuriating to me than when you're off a bye and you lose to a bad team. And Jordan, you're referencing Jordan Love post-game.
Jordan Love smiling and shaking hands. He's throwing an interception.
He dapped up somebody who was a nobody. Like, it wasn't even like Russell Wilson, who's also a nobody to me, right?
Disgusting.
There's nobody on the Broncos that I would be like, yo, I got to hang out and trade jerseys or talk with this guy. I just threw an interception to end the game. Like, I love a when Devontae Adams ran over the photographer, I get it. He didn't mean to do it. Did he apologize? Yes, but I'd rather see that. You know why? Because that's competitive fire, right? You lose 3 games. Does it look like it affected anyone other than Matt LaFleur, who's like, holy crap, how did I get myself in this situation where I'm coaching nobody who knows where to run the freaking field? Trust me, I channel that energy 100%. But yes, look, Kyle, and this isn't me, trying to be like, oh, I hate the Packers. Jason Wilde said it. He thinks they were going to win 6 games. I bet under 7.5 because I just thought
with a first-year quarterback, with all the look, I could be wrong still. They could win 8 games. That's not like the craziest thing in the world.
They don't win 8 games. Stop saying that.
That's a death sentence right there.
Stop. Listen, nobody call into the show. No, listen, nobody. They're not winning 8 games. It's not happening, okay? The max is maybe 7. 7 would be a miracle, okay? Jonathan Brust is going to win the bet.
Well, luckily we didn't confirm that bet.
Because I'm telling you, the Packers ain't winning more games than the Bears. The Bears are progressive.
I say, who'd you rather be, the Bears or the Packers?
Both these teams are trash. Yeah. I'd rather be blind.
But we do have some blind fans out there, so Kyle would like to join you sometime to listen to the show from the outside. 800-990-3776. We got KBN Academy. We got to get to Tausch's opening statement. We got Jason Wilde. We got a lot more with all of you, KBN Nation. 800-990-3776. More next in 2 minutes. Stay tuned. Congratulations.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it yourself at 2 convenient Madison locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Honda certified technicians handle it all. You can even get flexible payment options. Fix your car now and pay later. Apply online to see your options in seconds with no hard credit check. Make your service appointment online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Zimbrick Honda Service Center on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Hey, this is Craig Karmazin. Join Kyle Wallace and me every Sunday morning for Sunday Karma on a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Yeah, it is, and I'm Alex Strofe. Your Sports Center update brought to you by Green Bay Game Night. Join Homer, Gabe Neitzel, Mark Tauscher, and Jason Wilde for reactions and analysis immediately after every Green Bay football game this season here on ESPN Wisconsin. In Wisconsin On Demand. Let me tell you what, you missed out on quite the therapy session last night as the Packers fall flat on their face in Denver, 19-17 loss to the Broncos. Packers now 2-4 on the season. Head coach Matt LaFleur after the game.
You know, as a play caller, I feel total 100% responsible for when it's not working. So, obviously very disappointed with just the whole process.
I'll tell you this stat. It's the one I've been focused on. The Packers have not scored a touchdown in the first half since September 17th. That was 36 days ago, 5 weeks plus, back in week 2 against Atlanta. Last time the Packers scored a touchdown in the first half. They look to right the ship this Sunday as they play host to the Minnesota Vikings. Also 2-4, but they play the 49ers tonight. College football was good. Badgers got a win. They host number 3 Ohio State at Camp Randall Stadium this Saturday night under the lights.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studios in Madison, this is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN. Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. .com.
Kyle Wallace, the Kyle of Kyle Brust and Nortman, spiraling right now. Brad Nortman, 6-time, 6-year NFL punter with us, providing perspective. And myself, I want to say I was right, but it's starting to look like it. 800-990-3776, Chris Larson running the show. Again, 800-990-ESPN. And Chris, I would love to get this on Twitter at KBN ESPN. With Mark Murphy retiring in 2025, who's most likely to still be here? Love, Goody, or LaFleur? You can even add none. I say none. I really don't see a pathway. Unless Jordan Love, the last 10 games of the season, they got more than that. There's 11 games. 11 games. They're going to be playing a lot of games up until Thanksgiving because they had their long break after the Thursday Night Football game leading into Monday Night Football. They had their bye week. It's now or never, right? We're going to learn a lot up until Thanksgiving. And if they can't figure out a way to get this offense rolling in the first half against the Broncos, who are bad, I don't care who it is. I really don't. I fear the day they play the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I don't care how incompetent the Pittsburgh Steelers offense can be at times. That is a defense that will make life hell. And so when you look at their next couple opponents, you got the Vikings who are next, and I believe the Rams. You have two teams under 500, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you know why? The Packers aren't good. And so, again, who will be here in 2025? LaFleur, Love, Goody, or none of them?
If you're going to go off of what's most replaceable and what is like more often replaced, it usually goes in this progression, right? Usually they'll go off the quarterback first, right? Then it'll be head coach, and then it'll be GM. It's like the GM turnover is not common. And then followed by that, it would be head coach, which is kind of like next more common. And then the most common, just like pull the plug and start over, would be quarterback. So for me, I'm going to follow that trend. I think most likely to not be here, assuming this trend continues between now and the end of the season, most likely the quick change would be Jordan Love, because they can get out of that Jordan Love contract with ease next year. And especially if they do poorly and they're going to have potentially a top 5 draft pick, you're probably going to pick somebody that's going to be a capable quarterback. So most likely Jordan Love to me. I think Matt LaFleur will probably also be gone. The only one that I think might hang on to it would be Goody. But I don't even think he's going to be there either. I think it's going to be a clean sweep. This is basically like, imagine like an ownership change, right? Imagine like another owner buys a franchise. That's basically is what's going to happen.
Brad, if I'm Goody and I'm coming to you and be like, hey, I'd love to keep my job, what would you say to me? Like, wouldn't you be like, you traded away Aaron Rodgers, you traded away Devontae Adams, you have Jordan Love and a young roster that's done what since I become president?
Yeah, I'm not saying that he has a whole lot to stand on because he's made this team and franchise worse for sure. I'm just saying it's not as easy to replace a GM as you think, because there's not that many of them out there. There's not that many. I still think, for the record, I still think he's going to be gone. I'm just saying, of the three, if I had to pick someone that is going to be there, I would probably pick Goody, even though I think he's most to blame. It's just hard to replace a GM. It doesn't happen very often.
He has zero accomplishments. Zero accomplishments.
You know what he'd maybe say? He'd say, hey, give me another year. These guys are young. That's the idea. That's what he'd say.
I was just with Sirius XM satellite radio. You know why? Because when you said that, I want to say F that.
I know. I've almost sworn a couple times today.
That's what I would want to say. I would legitimately, if they hired me as the president, I'm cleaning house, but it will be Goody. It will be Goody because I do not trust Goody. He has a record of not being able to hit it big. And it's about hitting big when it matters, and that's in the first round, in the early rounds, and he has not been able to consistently do that. So the reason why I get rid of him is because he's the one who has put these pieces on the roster, and he has showed, as the guy said, the caller called in, he said he gives them a C. Well, you know what? In the NFL, C means you're average, okay?
Average doesn't win Super Bowls.
It does not win Super Bowls. I'm looking for an A, baby, and he's had enough time to tell us that he's average at his jobs. Yeah, he has some late-round picks that were decent, but at the end of the day, it's too many C's that we done drafted when we need A's, and so you got to get rid of Goody.
On Twitter, at KBN ESPN, for you to get involved. When the Packers president, Mark Murphy, retires in 2025, who is most likely to still be in Green Bay? Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur, Goody, or none of the above? 800-990-3776. JB and the V chimes in. They all need to go. Goody for creating this dumpster fire, Love for being garbage, and LaFleur for being caught up in the mess and not speaking up. It's interesting because Matt has not spoken up. He's spoken up in his own way of showing frustration. He's like, look, he's kind of doing like I don't know what you want me to say because I don't really know what I'm working with.
It's almost like he's the parent, and he's better at parenting teenagers than he's better at parenting infants. And he just went from like, okay, I'm like I'm like a boys and girls club leader or whatever, and like I can connect with teenagers.
Now he's daddy daycare.
Now he's in daycare, and he's like, I don't know how to connect with these kids. And I think he's up there just super frustrated. He doesn't know what to do.
That was a great analogy. Brett, you're knocking it out the park in the relation. You know why? Because I was a substitute.
Big analogy day.
No, I was a substitute teacher, and when I did high school, I'm like, cool, I can talk to these high schoolers. When I did first grade, and all they did was say, teacher, help me with this. Teacher, help me with that. Teacher, they did this. Teacher, they did this. I said, listen, hey, everybody, the teacher does not care about your problems and issues, okay? Y'all need to sit down and be quiet. And Matt LaFleur...
They fire your ass?
No.
I mean, geez.
I decided I was not doing
I'm glad I ain't sending my future kid to your school.
Actually, they asked me to come back for a long term in middle school. That's a whole nother story. But no, The thing is this. You're absolutely right. He does not know how to handle.
Teacher doesn't care about your problems.
No. The thing is, they're saying teacher, 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 and Matt LaFleur is saying, listen, y'all, I told you to do that. And they're like, well, we don't. How do I do it again? They have no idea. And the disconnect is the fact that they're just not ready to process what he's trying to feed to them. That you know what they need to do? Just like in first grade, you progress. You go to second grade. You go to third grade. You go to fourth grade. You keep going and getting better. And that's why this year we shouldn't expect much. But Jordan Love is a fifth grader playing with first graders. And he ain't a good fifth grader. He's a C fifth grader.
800-990-3776. Our guy Chris in O-Town, who's famously, his wife cheated on him with his best friend. Matt's play calling is like watching my ex go on a date with her boyfriend. I'd rather clean bathrooms. The players are fine. Matt needs to coach better. Terrible play calling, Chris in O-Town. See, and that's where, like, Chris, I still, and I don't feel sorry about that because I think you've ended up on a better side of things. But I don't think the players are fine. That's the biggest conversation here is, like, whether you want to talk about the defense, other than Rashawn Gary, who's a splash? Kenny Clark, since his big contract, he's been
been overrated.
Always, I would just say too inconsistent, right?
He's overrated. He doesn't pop. I want a guy that pops. He doesn't pop.
Who pops? Jair when he's on the field, but he hasn't been on the field. Rasul Douglas, guess what? I saw him missing tackles. He does a lot of talking.
I wonder, like, if you were able to take out LaFleur and put in Shanahan, and then take out Joe Barry and put in Dan Quinn, right? Like, those are some of the best guys in my mind. Do you think this would be any better? Maybe slightly better.
What do you mean? Of course it would.
It would be better. I mean, defensively, you'd be better. I think Dan Quinn probably can maximize it. You know more.
But doesn't this answer your question though? Like, that's mainly coaching. You're saying then?
Well, defensively, I think it's coaching. They haven't been able to maximize, but as a Packers
whether it's coaching or not, whether Kyle Shanahan and Dan Quinn became the head coach and defensive coordinator of this team and made this team 4-2 versus 2-4, it wouldn't change the fact that the roster isn't good enough long term, if that makes sense. It could have been they could have been 4-2 with those coaches based off of the schedule, who they've played, but they're still nowhere near the conversation of competing with the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. They're from that. And with what they have, they're still, I mean, we can't play that scenario, which tells us We're beyond light years away from that.
Yeah, true. I just thought that was interesting, and like if those guys are on the team, maybe that says it's more coaching than it is players. But I agree. We're not even sure we got the right players.
No, we don't have the right players. If you look back at the draft classes that he had, he has missed so much. Like, you can legitimately look at a 2018 draft class, and there is one player on this roster. His name is Jair Alexander from that draft class. You go into the 2019 draft class, you have Rashawn Gary, Elton Jenkins, and Darnell Savage, and one they don't even want on the team anymore from that draft class. You can't have draft classes where you're only getting 2 people and build out a roster. That's impossible. 2 times 5, that's only 10 dang players that you have from what you actually drafted.
Well, and not only that,
especially because they don't typically go after free agents. The last time they went after big free agents,
typically ever.
Oh, not ever.
Okay, 3 times.
But no, a couple times. All it was Adrian Amos, Billy Turner, Preston Smith, and Zadarius Smith. But that was a big investment for the Packers, helping them get to the 2019 NFC Championship game.
Oh gosh, I'm thinking like Charles Woodson.
No, I know. Trust me, I know.
I'm just Zadarius Smith.
I know, but that was
recent memory.
That is the most recent thing I can tell you, which they went to free agency and it helped bolster their team. And I'm helping your point, and since they don't do that often, they better be hitting at a higher clip than 2 out of 5.
Well, and again, it's not even like, okay, here's a blank slate, try to go remake this team, and he still drafted poorly. He dismantled a great team, right? You had the guys in the building that were the backbone and the bones of your entire team. You just need to fill it in to be able to give yourself more of a chance, and he didn't even like neutralize that. He undid it from the ground up.
Packers fans should just be so upset about this. We should be. We should demand better. We really should. And I need to hear something.
I thought as an owner you had say, why don't you do something about it? Or did you just pay $250 to sit here and complain?
Don't have me go up to Green. I'm gonna be in Lambeau for Green Bay game day on Sunday. Don't get me banned. From
I thought
Lambeau.
I was the bad guy for getting Matt LaFleur to sign my jersey.
Don't get me banned from Lambeau. I didn't tell you guys I ran into Terry Stotts. Forgot to tell you that.
Well, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you all that.
Did you get the tea?
I was just thinking, I was too scared. I was too scared to bother him.
Did you introduce yourself?
Why was he here?
I did. Why is he here? What do you mean?
I figured he'd been like, I'm out of here.
No, he still lives here in downtown Milwaukee.
That'd be a pretty quick exit, wouldn't it?
It would also be weird to be here.
The reason why I bring it
Terry
up because
Stotts, Bucks assistant coach heading into the season, that got into it with old Adrian and no longer with the team.
And so I don't know if I have the balls to be able to actually say something. I'm doing all this talking, and I'll get in front of Matt LaFleur. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Autograph? Look at my jersey. This is a Packer one. I'm doing all this talking, but I don't know if I got the balls to be able to say
Hey, you know that
something sweet.
D-bag that made you sign a Jets jersey? I work with him. He sucks.
Yeah, we got something that we can relate with. Now be better so you don't suck like he does.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, 800-990-3776. We'll answer some more Packers-related questions from the weekend, maybe some Badgers as well, in KBN Academy, where we take you to school next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
You experience it, you can't go back.
I got a sensitive tummy. And
So do I.
And so if I eat sushi and then I find myself sitting 10 hours later on the toilet, sitting there with my hands on my head, complaining about why did I do this, I'm going to come for you.
I guarantee you're eating other things in life that are upsetting your stomach more than what sushi will.
Yeah, I eat cheese all the time.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Ben Brust here for Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. It's been over 4.5 years I've worked with Zimbrick European, and it's time for you to stop on by and check out all the inventory they have to offer. You can also go to ZimbrickEuropean.com for certified pre-owns, Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, electric vehicles. They literally have it all for you. It's your one-stop shop. Don't forget about Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans as well. Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Check it out. You will enjoy it.
Sunday. You take a morning walk to pick up burgers and beers. You tidy the house for 10 fellow football fans. And your biggest chore? Loading the Bud Light into the fridge. It all pays off because nothing is as easy to enjoy as a Sunday full of football. And beer. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
A bank that goes the extra yard? You got it. Show your love for the green and gold with Packers checking only from Associated Bank. Make every transaction a touchdown with your Packers debit MasterCard. And when you use it at the Packers Pro Shop, at the stadium, or online, you'll get 10% off. Associated Bank's Packers checking scores the home field advantage by delivering Midwest-based customer care, outstanding value, and more. Get in the game and learn more today at AssociatedBank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. JKSecurity.com.
You know Mountain Dew is like no other soft drink on earth.
That's because Mountain Dew is the boldest soft drink the world has ever seen. Today, Mountain Dew, the most iconic flavor in the history of soft drinks, has spawned a new generation of outrageously craveable flavors that share its glory, like Mountain Dew Major Melon, Mountain Dew Code Red, Mountain Dew Spark, Mountain Dew Voltage, and Mountain Dew Livewire. So here's to the neon royalty of Dew and the Dew flavors that have come after it, the boldest flavors on earth.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Goody, Matt LaFleur, Mark Murphy, Jordan Love. Other? I tend to believe it's one of those four. If you want to point blame, that's where you got to look. 800-990-3776. It's Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. Kyle Wallace still in his feelings after the loss yesterday. Brad Nortman, 6-time, 6-year NFL punter with us, and Chris Larson running the show quickly before KBN Academy. Jake in Milwaukee, make it quick, 800-990-3776.
Hi, guys. I think that game yesterday showed us why Jordan Love is not the future for the Green Bay Packers. They had an extra week to prepare. He went up against one of the worst defenses in the league, and they struggled. And Matt LaFleur, as you can see, does not trust him as a quarterback. Hence the reason his percentage by passes over 10 yards is 38%. Jordan Love's not the future. They need to go back in this next year's draft and get a new quarterback.
Thank you for the call, Jake. I think a lot of that was valid. What I will say is it's hard for me to be like, that's the game, right? Like I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think you can close the door completely unless it becomes so evident that it's like Nathan Peterman bad, 7 interceptions in a game bad, right? Like he's still showing that, like, all right, there was a third down completion in which everything was blocked in front, the progressions worked, and I believe it was Jaden Reed who we found on the left side for a first down. And I was like, that was reminiscent of what I remember watching against Atlanta, against New Orleans in the fourth. Like that to me was like, whoa, all right, that's what I remember him being comfortable with. But I think the thing that hits me most there is the trust factor. Because I sent you guys a text message that Rob Domofsky, which we'll hear from on Wednesdays on our program, Rob had highlighted his passing 20-plus yards down the field. Off the top of my head, I think it was 6 of 27, and that's not good. And a lot of his interceptions have come from that. He has not been good throwing the ball down the field, and so that limits the playbook. That limits how much Matt LaFleur will actually open up for Jordan Love, and that's why we saw check down Charlie, as Tosh would say. Not a lot of trust in QB1 right now. We'll dive into more of this in KBN Academy.
In radio, our goal's pretty simple.
Just so you know, we really suck.
Have an A show or an F show.
Hey, I'll decide who sucks around here.
The same goes for topics in this next segment. This is the KBN Academy.
Those that can't do, teach.
KBN Academy is presented by Circa Sports. Play the Circa Million and Circa Survivor with $14 million in guaranteed prizes only at Circa Sports. Enter in Vegas, play from anywhere. Visit circasports.com for details.
It is the KBN Academy. Professor Nortman, Professor Walls, Professor Brust here. Give us some questions. You got to give an A or an F. There's no in between. There's no B's, C's, or D's. So how about this one? The Packers have been outscored 63-6. Yes, 63-6 in their first half of their last 4 games. That's bad. A or F? You blame Matt LaFleur, the coaching staff, for the slow starts.
Give me an A for this one. I do blame Matt LaFleur and the coaching staff for these slow starts. That is the thing that the coaches have most control over is the first quarter. Because everything that you've talked about, you're really able to implement. You can do your play script. Everyone should know what they're doing, where they're going, and what the plan is. And look, I know that the Packers don't have great players because they're so young and they're so inexperienced. But at some point, it cannot be this one-sided. These are still NFL football players, and it's Matt LaFleur and the coaching staff that is creating this lopsided first half.
Yeah, that's not even close. Which one is the coach's fault? A or F? A?
A.
That's 100%. 100%. Who else fault with it? It's not the players. It's the coaches. The coaches, like you said, it is their job to prepare these young men to go out there and to execute, and they continue game after game to fail to execute the game plan. You had 2 times
to have.
But
an
isn't the
extended
execution
period
of the game plan the players?
The players have to execute it, but if you have multiple times where you know what the issue is, right? At some point, you should be able to solve it. It shouldn't be game after game after game where we see the exact same thing happening. You have to do some type of adjustment. You had a long layoff before the Raiders game. You failed. You had a long layoff before this last game against the Broncos. You failed. You failed twice. This is on the coaching staff.
Yeah, I was just playing a little devil's advocate because it's 110% A. I talked about it all freaking last week. The Broncos, heading into this game, had given 200 points up through 6 games, 33.3 points per game, 400-plus yards per game. And guess what the Packers did? They laid an egg in the first half where, Brad, they have the most control over the outcome. You can get your play script ready, right? Like, you can set up, like, anything with creativity. Anything, right? Like, where's the shot to Christian Watson like you did against the Vikings week 1? Like, something, right? Like, dial up something.
You just told him to underthrow it and get picked off?
Sure. Mr. Negative right now. I'm just trying to look at it, what they could have done differently. I'm trying to find solutions
I see
here.
why he didn't do it. That would be bad coaching, too.
So he can't win in your eyes?
Hell no.
Would you rather go down swinging or go down dumping it off?
Well, when you go down swinging, it seems to fall into the hands of the other team. So I don't know, okay?
Golly gee, Williker, he's in a bad place today, Brad.
He is. It's tough to see. Usually it's all that positive energy. Now it's just taking
Am I
a dark
Debbie Downer?
turn.
Am I downing everybody?
But I get it. It's okay.
I wouldn't say you're Debbie
Experience
Downer.
your feelings.
You're just incredibly negative.
Did you watch the game? What do you mean? What, everything I saw in that game was an F. Everything was an F. Defense is an F, too, because they fail. Whenever we need them, they always fail. So I could care less about what the defense did.
It's like scathing. That's the thing. It's like hot.
Well, and I kind of wait for Kyle to switch gears and be like, but like here's the positive. Nope, not today.
Oh,
we're all burning in hell.
I got a lot of notes. Okay, I got notes for days. So
look at that.
Whatever I don't get off my chest tomorrow, don't wait. I got more to get off my chest tomorrow.
Well, the Packers currently own the number 7 pick in the NFL draft for next year. Think about that. That's a top 10 pick, Kyle. But your guy Goody would be the one picking it. A or F. See, that's me setting him up to just don't screw it up. A or F, you are ready to tank and get a higher pick.
I don't know. I hate the idea of tanking personally. I'm gonna go with an F on that one because I hate the idea of tanking and the idea of like actively losing and what that does for your culture. I don't even think a higher pick is worth that. I will say I still think this team is going to try to win and they're going to keep losing. So I think it excites me if we have a top 10 pick, but I don't think to make decisions to actively lose is ever the right thing to do.
Listen, it's okay. It's okay to lose if it's part of the bigger project, and I think that's the problem. It wasn't part of the bigger project, bigger goal that I almost said Milwaukee Bucks, the Green Bay Packers had. So I'm also with that. No tanking, but this team is going to lose regardless. They're not going to win close games, so they have no idea how to win close games. We've seen it week in, week out. We saw the miracle that happened in against New Orleans and Green Bay.
Oh, now it's a miracle.
It was a miracle. It was a miracle.
Now it's a miracle.
It was an absolute miracle.
After that game, the Packers were favored to go to the playoffs, and you were eating Jordan Love cookies and calling him the next best thing to ever play quarterback.
The cookie went down good. Now it did
taste good at the time, didn't it?
Now my stomach hurts just knowing that I ate that. I put that poison in my body.
I figured you would have said it already came out.
I mean, I didn't want to talk about throwing up or anything like that.
No,
it can go in other ways?
Yeah, it can go out the back. That's normal.
No, cookies don't go out the back.
It stays on the hips forever.
Yeah, don't they? Yep. That's what all the people say.
You're not a dad, but that was... Oof.
Yeah, so what, F, A? I don't know.
Everything's an F for you.
Everything's an F for me. So,
yeah, you know what? Everything's F for you. The answer is F. I'm not ready to tank to get a higher pick because, Brad, you took it. They're going to be bad. Like, they're not a good football team. Everyone knows that. Packer fans know that. Mark Tauscher, in his opening statement for Green Bay Game Day postgame show, said, tell me how this is not a bottom 5 team. Brian Balaga says the same thing. There are enough eyeballs to watch football to know that this team is not very good, and you have enough evidence now through 6 games because you played bad teams and you're 2-4. Right? It's not like they're 2-4 and played the gauntlet of the Eagles. Then they went into the Bills. I mean, even the Bills. You get my point. Like, they're not playing the juggernauts. They're playing a lot of average football teams, and they're still bad.
So if the Packers were the remainder of the season, they win 3 or 4 more games this year.
if they're like scoring points in these games, and it seems like there might be some.
That's what happened with Aaron Rodgers. And I know the teams were set up differently, but yes.
But would that make you have a more positive outlook? Because I know for me that would make me have a more positive outlook. I can't watch a defense that I know is trash and then an offense just look lethargic and garbage for an entire game. That would make me a little bit more happy to see a team actually give me some hope.
It might be a long 11 weeks, brother.
Yeah, I think it will be. I mean,
I don't know. My stress level can't help that. I need to start taking some medication.
I do think, look, if the offense starts playing better, it might change your dynamic a little bit because but
here's the thing. I'm going to stop you there. What has made us think that the offense is going to play better? They couldn't play good against the Raiders, who just gave up 28-plus points to the Bears with a backup quarterback that was an unrestricted free agent who had 2.6 pass yards per attempt.
I mean, I got nothing for that. I mean, I have no proof to think that it's just a matter of, do the guys grow up quickly? But we don't know if this is inexperience or just bad football players.
I'm legit ready to cry.
That just upset you?
You said 11. You said 11 more games of this.
It's possible.
Listen, I don't do drugs.
It's likely, honestly.
That cookie needs to have some edible stuff in it in order to get me get through this season because I don't know how I'm going to do it because I'm going to have to keep myself low because I'm going to get too excited during these games.
Just come watch the Packer games at my house. You'll be okay.
Let's see. I can't watch games with people, especially if they say things I don't like.
That's not what I was going for, Kyle.
Oh.
Jeez.
Did you get it?
I got it.
Oh, okay. I'm on the slow train.
even Oatmeal Brad got it.
About the game.
Even Oatmeal Brad got
That's right.
Oh my goodness! I legitimately it went over my head.
Well, cheers to and pouring out. And if you have any 800-990-3776, if you want to cheers to something, you can. If you want to pour one out for somebody, you can. 800-990-3776. That's next.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
When I'm, again, doing the Pack Arena, and as a shareholder, when I'm sizing up my ring,
I'm sizing up my ring
Pack
Arena right now.
1 packer, 2 packer, 3 packer arena.
Hey.
What's the rest of the words? Jordan love to Christian Watson. Nay, that's a touchdown.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Hey, it's Alex Strofe, and it's time for you to get away to Door County for free. My friends at Door County Distillery are giving away a 2-night stay at Stone Harbor Resort in Sturgeon Bay for free. Plus tours of Door County Coffee, Door County Distillery, and Door County Candle Company, plus $500 gift cards to each location. Go to DoorCountyDistillery.com/Door County Getaway. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com/Door County Getaway. All one word. We'll pick one lucky winner on October 25th. Don't miss out. DoorCountyDistillery.com/Door County Getaway.
Hustle up, we've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Love is in the air and behind center for your favorite football team. SprayNet of Southern Wisconsin knows that the kitchen is the heart of your home. Let them help you fall in love with it again. In just a few days, SprayNet can have your kitchen cabinets looking like the day you first saw them. Their exclusive painting technology and technique will create a new look for your kitchen that is quick, affordable, and beautiful. Schedule an appointment today with Dale, the owner of SprayNet of Southern Wisconsin. Go to SprayNet.com.
You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Jim Routledge here. You heard me talk about them for years. I have my big blue truck from Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. It is a Silverado. If you're in the market for a new or new to you Chevy Silverado or Colorado, I recommend Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Go see my guy Dan out there. You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
Gruber Law Offices, serving the people of Wisconsin for over 30 years.
Call us today if you've been injured. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Hey, it's Alex Strouf. What gets lost in the middle of football season is the fact that the holidays are going to sneak up on you. So while you're thinking of it, there's no better place to go than Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. Diamond Jim, the owner of the store, is in the store every single day, 7 days a week, ready to help you, whether you're looking to take that next step or you just need to treat your special someone or yourself. There's no better place to do it than with Jim at Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. Visit them online, condonjeweler.com. That's condonjeweler.com. Or pop in today on the east side of Madison.
At Starion Bank, they pride themselves on being a super community bank. Small enough to show they care about you and the communities they serve, while being large enough to make big things happen. With 3 Madison area branches in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona, Starion Bank is here investing in your community while offering valuable personal and business banking services. Start your experience with Starion Bank today by going to starionbank.com. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Now do you want it? 'Cause these dancing feet don't...
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. I'm Ben Brust. Kyle Wallace going through all the emotions. Brad Nortman, 6-time 6-year NFL punter. And Chris Larson, homeboy Chris, running the show. That music means we're being joined now by Jason Wilde of Wilde and Tausch, which you hear across these stations from 9 to noon. Jason, welcome in.
Homeboy Chris Larson?
Homeboy Chris, right, Chris?
That's right, yep.
Wow.
Word.
Word to your moms. Nice. I like it.
Jason, thank you for joining. I know you just got done with a little bit of media availability. Did you get any answers as to what Matt LaFleur is going to do to stop being outscored 63-6 in the first half of the last 4 games?
Yeah, they're certainly trying to figure it out, and obviously that is a really bad statistic and one that everyone wants to point out, and rightfully so, because you play that poorly in the first half, it makes it really hard for you to win games. And when I look at this team, they've had 3 games now that they've lost where they had the ball in their hand at the end of the game, that if they score there, they win the game. Unfortunately, if you don't play well in the first half, that's the margin for error you have, and they failed all 3 times. So they need to figure it out. I think, LaFleur, I asked them about that just a little while ago. I think the biggest struggle for them is that he still has not quite figured out what exactly is going to work for guys early in games. He didn't say this, but I think if he's being honest, he's probably being a little conservative early in games, feeling like, that he has to keep things simple for this young group and for this inexperienced quarterback. And so I think you put that kind of stuff together, and that's how you end up, kind of looking like you don't know what you're doing early in the game. And that's exactly how they have looked.
Jason, we haven't touched on this yet, but I got to ask, Aaron Jones, he had all that time off to recover. He's healthy. He's practicing. He's in the lineup. He gets 11 touches. A.J. Jones, clearly the more feature back with it. Do we know anything more that's going on with Aaron Jones as far as his health? Should we just expect him on a pitch count the whole year? Have you gotten any more clarity over him? Because he's in a very important part of this offense that's, his presence leaves a void.
Yeah, he's definitely not fully healthy. I mean, they played him, 23 snaps yesterday? I think it was 36% of the snaps.
Yeah, and Kevin Harlan was shouting it out like it was like propaganda for the Packers. He was like, hey, he's going to be on a pitch count. And it's like, jeez.
Yeah, I'm sure the Broncos had a pretty good idea of that. And as Brad pointed out, I thought A.J. Dillon had probably his best game of the year, right? I mean, he ran physically and hard, and that's progress with him. I still think he's not playing well enough, and they need even more from him, especially if Aaron Jones is going to be on that pitch count. But I thought he played. I was not surprised that Aaron Jones played as little as he did. I did not expect him to play 50 snaps yesterday, and he didn't. And so you're right; it does leave a void. And one of the reasons I would argue that they're struggling offensively is because their most experienced and dynamic offensive player isn't playing his full complement of reps. And if he's on the field more, he makes, as Adam Stenovich said to us last week, something cool always happens when he has the ball. Now, I'm not sure a whole lot of cool things happened yesterday. He did have the catch on the throw by Dontavion Wicks, but they need to get him more involved. But if he's only playing 23 snaps, that makes it awfully hard. And I don't know. I don't know enough about the physiology of Aaron Jones to fully understand how something that he downplayed in the immediate aftermath of the Chicago game and claimed he could have gone back into the game has become this lingering issue that even when he plays, he's not able to play a whole lot. And that is a major issue for this team, and we probably don't talk about it even as much as we do talk about it, probably not enough as a reason for why they're not getting off to faster starts offensively, because he is the kind of guy early in the game who can give you that explosive play or pick up the third down when it looks like he's not going to get there, and then suddenly things change and you pick up your offense, and there's a more of a confidence and more of a mojo to it, because right now in the first half there is zero mojo offensively.
We're speaking with Jason Wilde's Packers reporter and also co-host of Wilde and Tausch that you can hear at 9 to noon every day or every weekday on ESPN Wisconsin. And Jason, this has been quite the frustrating day for me after watching yesterday's performance, and I've come to the realization that this team, they're not good, and they're not going to win a lot of games this year. Do you think they've realized that this is actually a rebuilding year and not a year they should be expecting playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if we're all being honest and realistic about what they are and who they are, then we shouldn't be overly surprised by this. I'm not. I was more surprised at how good they looked against Chicago. But and look, the loser's lament is always, well, if this play goes another way or that play goes the other way. Like there was a year where it was before my time, but Lindy Infante was the coach, and some of the older reporters that were here before me tell the story of the year that they went 4-12, and Lindy saying we were 6 plays away from going 10-6.
Yeah, and I'm 6 inches away from being 6'8".
I understand how that sounds, but I do think it's important to recognize that for a team with a bunch of young guys who are inconsistent and who make crucial mistakes, they had another, LaFleur did let it slip or chose to let it slip. That one on one of the other third down plays in the first half when they didn't get anything going offensively, they busted a route that the guy ran the wrong route. You can't do that. That screws everything up, right? But in spite of all that, they have now the Raiders game, the Broncos game, and the Falcons game this year. In spite of all these shortcomings and all this inexperience, they had the ball in their hand with a chance to go win the game. And so I don't think that they're light years away. It's not like they're getting blown out and getting run out of the gym each week. And they're in those positions in spite sucking in the first half. So, that now, does that speak also to the quality of their opponents? Probably. Certainly that's a factor. But, it's not that they're, light years away from and I'm sure, Brad, you played on a Super Bowl team. You also played on an AFC Championship game team, and you also played on some teams that struggled. I'm sure most teams that lose are able to look back and go, well, this game, if we just make this play, it's potentially a totally different game. But in the Packers case, there's plenty of those plays in the first 3.5 quarters, and then they still have a chance at the end. And on the flip side, you could argue that they took that lead against the Saints, and they probably should have lost that game because that's a very makeable field goal that the Saints missed at the end. So the margin for error is small. I don't believe that they are just this awful team. I think that's how it feels when you lose to two teams that aren't very good themselves. But man, oh man, Tausch thinks I'm crazy, but I see the glimpses of what they can be. I'm not sure if they will be that this season, but I can see the flashes of
Jason,
potential.
what are those glimpses, though? Because I think people are curious right now.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a play by it's a every so often there's a play that you're like, okay, that's exactly how it's supposed to look.
Other than the Jaden Reed first down where Jordan Love had time, I can't think of a play where I was like, I mean, that's one play.
Well, he's got to throw to Dobbs at another point. There's the throw across the middle to Dontavion Wicks, who makes a fantastic catch. Now, I think he's a guy that people should be excited about. Like he's got.
I like that, Jason.
He's got a lot of the qualities that you want in a young receiver, and not just because he can throw the ball too. Apparently, like I don't think that there is just this complete void of playmaking. Like, here's another example. Like the throw that Love misses on the final drive that Watson gets hurt on. Like, that is a throw that he has to make. He can't miss that throw. It's such a critical throw, and he has it there, and he misses it. And then they get the holding penalty, and then which was, I didn't think, a good call, and then they're 3rd and 20, and then, he throws it down the field, and we know what the result is. And it was there was a quote from Simmons, their safety, who said that actually was the perfect play call. The Broncos just were better. And I think, frankly, the throw by Love hung up too long in the air, and that's what allowed them to pick it off. But he should have checked that down. And that's something that will come with experience. He will see that it isn't there. He'll recognize it quicker, and then he'll check it down, and then they'll have a chance on 4th and 12 or whatever to try and pick up the first down. I think, everyone just doesn't want to. No one wants to live through this process. I get it. Frankly, Matt LaFleur doesn't want to do it either. But this is the reality of the way they've chosen to structure their team. And I believe that when you watch young players, like Homer has long said, you have to recognize when they do things well, because that shows you what they're capable of. They're going to screw up. The Ben Brust who played as a freshman was not the same as the Ben Brust who played as a senior. And that just stands to reason. And even these guys that are second-year guys, I mean, remember, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson both missed significant chunks of their rookie seasons with injuries. Neither one of them played 50% of the snaps last year. So they basically played less than half the season. So they're the second-year guys. They're the most experienced guys, but they're still really learning. Like, I would argue that Romeo Doubs, in theory, we were talking about this morning on our show, is the number one receiver. Well, then why the hell does he disappear for long stretches? I would argue it's because he's inexperienced still, and he hasn't found ways to get himself consistently open. And maybe he never will, or maybe that light will come on between year 2 and 3, or maybe that'll come on later this year.
Or he's just not good enough.
Maybe, but I don't think that's the case. Like, you see some of the things he does. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not sure, out of the 6 guys they have on the active roster at wide receiver, maybe Wicks is able to hold on to that ball, that simultaneous possession. But the dude, he has really strong hands. And Romeo Doubs makes a play there, which, by the way, was officiated correctly. I don't know what Gene Steratore.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
But the bottom line is that I see enough encouraging things that I don't want Packers fans like Kyle to be so downtrodden. But Tausch keeps telling me it's not my job to do this, so I'm going to stop telling fans it's going to be okay. I do feel like I'm a little Rodgers-ish with the relax. I feel like I'm trying to do that for this team, and it's not working all that well, so I'm just going to stop doing it.
Well, I think Kyle appreciated it. Jason, thanks so much for the time, and we look forward to talking to you Thursday.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
That's Jason Wilde of Wilde and Touch, which you can hear weekdays Monday through Friday from 9 to noon. I know somebody that he references is a big fan of Gina Della from Pella, and somebody here is as well.
If there's one team that we can count on, it is Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, led by our friend Gina Della. And this is the team we can count on because they just keep on executing any play you need. You want to open up your window, let that nice autumn breeze in there, check. The cold air coming, I saw that next week. Close it and fortify it. Durable, stylish. They have blinds that go between the glass now, between their windows. Unbelievable things that Pella Windows and Doors just continues to deliver on. And that includes installation, which is completed in as little as a day, leaving no mess, no hassle, just the perfect results that Pella Windows and Doors always gives you here in Wisconsin. So schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Cheers to pouring out next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
I nailed it, though. I said, she didn't go to the back of the bus. She
Yeah.
said, I ain't moving.
You right.
I'm not leaving.
Well, I'm
not bleeping leaving.
No, you right.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
Varsity on Wisconsin On Demand is home to all the latest and best Badgers content on ESPN Wisconsin. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, and wherever you get your podcasts. The Wisconsin football team rebounded Saturday with a win over Illinois, bringing their season record to 5-2. Head coach Luke Fickell after the game.
I'm sure you all had your doubts, not unlike a lot of us. But I told those guys afterwards, this is the first time in 10 months that I've seen that out of our guys. Probably what makes me happiest. And it's not just finding a way to win. It's the resiliency. It's the fight, the grit.
The Badgers look to make it 2 wins in a row as they host Ohio State this Saturday night.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
At TLC Laser Eye Centers, we know every one of our patients' journeys. Like a recent patient in Chicago. She's been wearing the same scratched frame since college. And another patient in New York City. The first time he tried putting in contacts, it took him 4 hours and lots of patience. So how do we know all this? Well, TLC isn't all about seeing. We're also about listening. We start by discussing your needs, answer any questions, or address any concerns you may have about LASIK. Then we customize your experience to you. You deserve the best LASIK doctors, the best LASIK staff, and the best LASIK experience. So book your free 20-minute virtual consultation at TLC Laser Eye Centers. And let's talk about your journey today.
Right now, TLC is offering $1,000 off their Wavelight laser when treated in October. That's $500 off per eye. So call 888-TLC-2020 or visit SaveOnTLC.com. The doctor's choice for LASIK. Must mention this promotion and be treated in October of 2023 to qualify. $1,000 off for both eyes on standard Wavelight price. $500 off for one eye. Cannot be combined with any other offers. See details at SaveOnTLC.com.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Take your shot at $20,000. Pink Lemonade meets exceptionally smooth vodka. Pink Whitney, what a legend. This fall, for a limited time at participating locations around Madison, scan the QR code at point of purchase to take your shot at $20,000 instantly. That's right, a chance to win $20,000 instantly, courtesy of Pink Whitney. Watch for the QR code at participating locations, including Red Rock Saloon, City Bar, State Street Brats, and Whiskey Jack's. Must be 21 or older to enter. No purchase necessary.
The best quality roofs, siding, windows, and doors, expertly installed and at an affordable price. Hi, this is Bo from Ridgetop Exteriors. We're the trusted local experts you can count on for your home exterior projects. There's a reason so many customers recommend us after we help with their projects. Go to ridgetopexteriors.com for a free estimate.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Hey, it's Alex Strofe. The high school football playoffs are officially here, and ESPN Madison has you covered every single Friday night. Join us beginning at 6:30 each Friday for Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania as we lead you up to the games at Camp Randall Stadium in mid-November.
Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania is also brought to you by Canopy Wealth Management, Pasquale's Cantina, UW Credit Union, Stoughton Trailers, the GRB Academy, and Stoughton Health.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Ready to go to every Packers home game this season. We got a spot for you. Milwaukee Brown House, Jack's American Pub, Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They have bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. And I've been through it. I went to the New Orleans game. I hopped on the bus after checking in. They gave me my badge for my bus, the all-you-can-drink eat and drink pass for the bar at Holmgren Way. They have it all figured out for the games on October 29th and November 5th. There is limited room available. So book your round-trip ride and get all access through the official ride of Green Bay by visiting golfwanakee.com or milwaukeebroadhouse.com to book your trip today. Kyle, Brust, and Norman across ESPN Wisconsin. Again, 800-990-3776 on Twitter at KBN. ESPN is where you can find our poll for the day. When the Packers president Mark Murphy retires in 2025, who is most likely to still be in Green Bay? Love, LaFleur, or Goody? And I can't believe it. Of those three, there isn't none of the above, which I probably should have not done. Goody is winning this one. I'm fascinated. I am mind-boggled right now. Hang on. Can we talk this out? Am I crazy? Goody is the guy that drafted Jordan Love. Goody is the guy that talked about how he knew having a Hall of Fame quarterback was going to take, it was going to be difficult, and he understands what comes with it. But is the guy that did not create a strong relationship with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron has a part in this too, don't get me wrong, but he did not make it work. And if I'm the general manager and I have a Hall of Famer, I'm going to try and do my best to make it work. Ego aside, he helps make your team competitive year in and year out. You move on from Rodgers, fine. What's the plan, Stan? You didn't sign Devontae Adams when he wanted to be here. You offered him later when the Raiders offered him, and you didn't prioritize him. He's gone. So now you got the youngest wide receivers and tight ends in the NFL. You have Aaron Jones, who can't get on the field. You have A.J. Dillon, who's not going to be here. You're not going to sign him to some deal. And you have a quarterback that you don't even know if it's a guy, and we're all waiting to see if he actually does something that makes us go, holy crap! Woo, that feels good. Because guess what? Nobody's felt that since the Saints game. And Goody's just skating on by?
I think people have forgot what happened because Aaron Rodgers kind of messed up everybody's memory with the fact that what he did kind of eclipsed everything that Goody had failed to do.
I think that's fair.
Watkins and punches. That was terrible.
Was that?
Watkins and punches.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I couldn't stand Goody at that moment.
I mean, Sammy Watkins was his solution. Sammy freaking Watkins. Do you have something quick there, Brad?
No, just it's easy to forget about the GM because he's kind of behind the scenes and whatnot, but he puts his fingerprints on everything, and everything should flow back up to him, so he should take a lot of the blame for this.
He takes the most from me. As much, again, Matt, I still want to see more of Jordan Love. That doesn't change. Matt LaFleur, you guys know how I feel, but Goody is my guy that I want more blood for. Rutledge and Hamilton up next in Madison. Please enjoy that. We'll be back in 2 minutes on 94.5 ESPN, streaming on YouTube and streaming everywhere you need.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, a.k.a. fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas.